Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. We are back again. Sean Cunningham, Lena Washington, your ABC 10 sports team, and we are back with our Sacramento Kings conversation. They're wrapping up their homestand tonight with the Celtics in town. They beat down the Warriors last night.
They sure did.
But the Kings are hoping to keep things rolling after getting a much-needed win over the Knicks on Monday, but they're facing a tough contender tonight. Sean, how do you feel about it? I
feel pretty decent, actually. I mean, I know everyone's looking at that Warrior game and they're going, oh, man, they handled the Warriors, you know, for a team that was supposed to be in disarray. They came in and got arguably their best win of the season last night. So they're on the second game of back-to-back, so the Kings are getting that. Celtics kind of feeling themselves a little bit. But I also think that, look, this is still a team that had lost 5 of 6 coming into that Warriors game.
Right.
That one win doesn't kill all ills, as the Kings well know. So I think that, you know, if they're catching a team that's struggling, maybe they're on their way back. They've still got 2 or 3 more games, I think, on their road trip. Boston does after tonight. So I think the Kings are catching them at the right time. I think this is a good win, a good opportunity for them for Sacramento to get some confidence with themselves, get back to a winning record as they did just the other night against the Knicks, and then take the show on the road because the schedule kind of winds out a little bit, and they're kind of through that really rough patch. So the toughest part of their season is in their rear view, and I think that if they can get this game, this will kind of set some momentum up going forward.
Definitely. I have to say, though, that obviously that Knicks game was not very exciting, but the score was a little too close for a fan's liking when you're looking at a team that's racing to the bottom of the NBA standings. They don't want to win games, but they were giving them a run for their money.
Well, and I mean, I think Kings fans know this. I mean, the best they've looked, you know, even since the trade, even before the All-Star break, it was that Denver game. That's the game they played the best of the season with this group, and they lost that game.
Yeah.
Some people might go, oh, what about the Warriors? Well, the Kings couldn't hit an outside shot to save their life until Buddy Hield buried a 40-footer. So, yeah, it's gonna be real interesting. I don't think the Kings have played necessarily great, but I think because this is the dog days of the season, and with 19 games left remaining in the schedule, this is an opportunity for the Kings to get right. They don't have to play at their best. They're going to be playing some lower division, lower echelon teams, Eastern Conference teams, which they've played really well against.
Right.
It's the other teams. It's the teams, particularly in the Pacific Division, that have given them fits.
3-11 they are against division opponents.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. But you know, they've played those teams relatively close, and they've given. I mean, there's no moral victories, no Pyrrhic victories, but you know, you've played your competition really, really well. You've played up to your level of your competition. Now it's, can you kick the door in and get some of these wins and put that playoff push? Yeah,
absolutely. Because we are less than 5 weeks away from the regular season wrapping up. We'll be looking ahead to the playoffs. It's flown by. I mean, when you're winning, the season kind of goes a little faster. It doesn't feel like it's such a struggle to get through games. But we want to know how you guys are feeling. What questions do you have ahead of this road trip? They will be going to Boston, New York, D.C., Philly. Philly and Celtics are back-to-back, so that's going to be a challenging trip for the Kings. But let us know how you're feeling going into this final playoff push. We are 19 games away from knowing whether or not the drought will end at 12 seasons or if it will continue on, leading the NBA at 13 seasons.
Yeah, and I like to break down the season, too, in little sample sizes, right? So if you win this game and you predict, okay, you've got a 4-game road trip, 2-2 is a solid number.
Yeah.
That's a realistic number, which is very doable. You need a 2-2 road trip is only successful if you have that win with the Knicks and Boston going in. You can't split those games.
Yeah.
So to your point, making the playoffs, what does that win total look like? Personally, I think it's still around 44, 45 games, which they'd have to really finish strong to do. But just break it down even more simple, and it's like, all right, 2-2 homestand, or excuse me, 2-2 road trip, but you had the 2 games going into the homestand where you went 3-1 on the homestand to win. So those little small sample sizes add up, and that's, I think, how they have to break down the schedule.
Sure. Well, the first question we have for all of our viewers, Allison has already chimed in. We want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not confident at all, 10 being very confident. Allison is very confident. She's on a scale of 10, saying the Kings are going to make the playoffs.
Wow, she's got a crystal ball, I think.
Hopefully.
we need to bring her in here.
Yeah, she's the Oracle Allison.
I mean, but shoot, she's probably right. She's probably looking at this season going, look, there's very winnable games. This is territory that a lot of these Kings players haven't been in before. Think of how young this team is, and even some of the veterans. Willie CauleyStein is their longest tenured King, which is just mind-boggling to think of, by the way. And in talking to him, it's like, this is uncharted territory for him. He's loving this playoff push and being relevant and being in this conversation.
Yep.
They're already in playoff games. These are playoff games because they're playing meaningful games.
Yeah.
It's not quite a series yet, but because of the magnitude that's on them, Dave Yeager's talking about, no, these are playoff games.
Yeah.
He wants his team to stop looking at the scoreboard, focus on each game, and put the magnitude on each game and not look too far ahead. And I think that's the right move, especially for a younger team. But to think that Willie CauleyStein is still their longest tenured King is crazy to me.
You say Dave Yeager doesn't want the guys to watch the scoreboard, but walking into the locker room on Monday, everybody's looking at the Lakers and Clippers game. And fans, it's not good when the Clippers beat the Lakers in this situation because you need the Clippers to lose so that your team can get into the playoffs. So the Spurs won, the Clippers won. It's still a 3.5 game gap, I guess, between the 3.5 game gap, 3 game gap.
You can't blame Kings fans though for wanting the Lakers to
lose.
No,
I don't. But I'm just saying in that particular situation, right. That's not necessarily something I want to get up for. But totally get it. You know, the Lakers probably won't make the playoffs.
I think they're probably looking at the Clippers as being too far along. I think most Kings fans are saying, it's the Spurs. And yeah, the Clippers are right in that mix, and you should target the Clippers. And the Lakers they're kind of a travesty and falling off a little bit, which is
have they.
Much to the delight of the Kings fans. Right. But I think, to ask a Kings fan not to root against the Lakers, even if it is at the behest of their...
In that situation, though.
I know. Spoken like a Suns fans understand this. Kings fans aren't realistic. They hate the Lakers.
I don't like them either, but I'm not going to... It's kind of like the back-to-back to your rivalry. I don't want to see Arizona win in March Madness.
Why not?
Because, no, that's not how it works. So, anyway... that's good that, Allison, you're confident. Now that some of these games have fallen by the wayside, I mean, I kind of mapped out at the All-Star break how I kind of felt this team going. I had them going 11-15 after the All-Star break. They lost in Golden State. They won in Oklahoma, lost in Minnesota, lost home in Milwaukee, or lost to Milwaukee at home. And with the remainder of the games that I have them playing, I have them going 9-10, which is not 45 wins.
No, it won't be 45 wins. And depending upon how some of those other teams like Clippers and Spurs, what happens to them, much like the Spurs, though, the Kings, they've got that gauntlet behind them. And like you're saying, I think we were looking at that. How did you have them go during that
This was
stretch?
kind of like my no-brainer. I think just like off instinct, these are winnable games.
So the highlighted is winnable?
The highlights are winnable games. That I didn't even have to think about it. So I'm pretty much 1-1 so far in winnable games.
And I think we agree, too. Look, you're in the conversation, which is exactly where you want to be. If they don't make the playoffs, the season is not lost. This has already been a successful season.
Sure.
But it would be a cherry on top to break that streak and to get these guys in there and play in a series where, especially if it's against a team like the Warriors, are now more likely against Denver because the Warriors are kind of coming off a little bit. Boy, the wheels are falling off fast for them.
Oh, boy, are they. But
NBA teams would love to be so lucky to say, oh, gosh, we've lost 3 of our last 10, and, we're just in disarray.
Yeah. Well, I will say, though, when we were at the last trip in Oakland, Kevin Durant said we should have lost to this team 4 times. Draymond Green says he doesn't want to see the Kings in the playoffs because they run fast, and he's not trying to get up and down the court that fast. So, I mean, Warriors... members of the team, at least, not really jazzed about potentially facing the Kings in a playoff series, but I know fans in Northern California, that would be quite a treat.
Yeah, and regardless of positioning and records and all that, sometimes teams just have another team, they just have their number. Like, it's funny to see how Milwaukee came into Sacramento. Kings play them really tough after getting blown out in Milwaukee. And then, Phoenix Suns decides to beat the Bucks? Just to beat the Bucks. But, I mean, I honestly feel that the Kings could play the Bucks probably 10 times and lose 8 of them. And same thing with the Clippers. I just think it's an awful matchup for Sacramento. They were in that game, the most recent one here. It was a must-win, and it goes down to the wire. But the Clippers just have, especially when you don't have a guy like Marvin Bagley to get you those second-chance opportunities, who, by the way, looks like he could be nearing a return soon.
Right.
Which is great because they need that. They really need those second-chance opportunities, the rebounding, just his energy is incredible. And without having that, I think they've, in small, I keep saying small sample sizes, but in these small games with guys like Corey Brewer, Alec Burks, even Harry Giles, who's really kind of rose to the occasion a little bit in the limited minutes he's had after getting, especially even though he got ejected in the last game for a flagrant 2 penalty. They've been able to kind of stay within the conversation and stay within the competition level. To get Bagley back, though, can they sustain that? I don't know, but they need to get Bagley back very quickly, and hopefully that's Friday against New York. Yeah,
and Bagley was out. He went down last Wednesday with a knee injury. They gave him 1 to 2 weeks to be evaluated. He was out for Sheldon's high school basketball games. His brother plays for the Sheldon Huskies. They'll be at Golden One Center this weekend playing for a state title for the 2nd straight year. But speaking of Harry and Bagley, Milos wants to know who has the bigger ceiling or the higher ceiling, Marvin or Harry?
Boy, that's
putting
tough.
you on the spot, Duke boy.
Either or. I mean, to me, it's Bagley, and primarily because of there's a lot of question marks still with Harry. Suffered two just awful knee injuries. He doesn't have a whole lot of game experience under his belt like Bagley. Bagley's got just an incredible skill set, has so much energy. I think he's going to be a future All-Star. Harry also is a guy who's probably the team's best passer. Yeah. I don't know that he's got that selfish mode in him. Not to say that Marvin is, but Marvin's a scorer, a rebounder, those type of things. Harry's more of a guy who doesn't look at he's capable of scoring.
Yeah.
He doesn't put the scoring load on him. And because of that, you kind of have to be a star in this league if you're going to score.
Right.
You're going to be a star.
Scorer to be a star.
So I think from that standpoint, it's Marvin. But Harry is a guy that, much like Draymond Green, where there's so many things he does that he could be the most valuable player on that team, but other guys get all the shine.
I feel like, didn't somebody compare him to Draymond? Like, his game is like Draymond and KG a little bit?
KG for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh, the guy's got a similar body style, skill set, passing, defense. I think the thing that just is out there so much with both Draymond and KG is just his intensity.
Yeah.
That guy is just, nicest guy off the floor, and then you get on there and he's like, what a jerk.
He has a reaction for everything. There should be like a Harry emoji.
Yeah.
Don't take that idea, anybody.
Oh, well, the eyes would be super wide because he's always got this biggest surprise. Yeah.
All that good stuff. Wayman Hinsman says if they complete games without the 2-3-minute scoreless droughts, they can beat anyone. Defense looks good. We know they can run and score, but can they grab boards when it counts? That has been a challenge for this team for the last 2 seasons at least.
And the funny thing is, too, to that point, because of that playing style, they've actually, even though the record doesn't really indicate this because they have been better at home, I feel that they play better on the road. I mean, this team, for whatever reason, just gets up with their backs against the wall, and then they would just react a certain way. They've played really, really well on the road. So a lot of the times, going out on the road is almost a breath of fresh air for this team. And I think especially they're still trying to. I mean, I know I might be the only one making too much of this after talking to so many guys in the locker room, but they're still trying to figure guys out.
Yeah.
I mean, the chemistry on this team isn't what it was. So you're hopefully starting to see that. Even though, look, Harrison Barnes, I think, has played very, very well since coming to Sacramento. I think right now they're still trying to get those intangibles down.
Sure.
And that's part of the way things get murky. And when's the best opportunity for guys to really flip the switch and try to figure out some of those things is when you go out on the road. Yeah. The camaraderie is better on the road. You don't have the distractions that you do at home. And I think that this East Coast trip could certainly help that. And
if there's snow involved, it seems like that brings out the best of these players when they're going off the plane, hitting each other with snowballs. Frank enjoying the lovely sights and sounds of Cleveland. They're going crazy out here.
Oh, what about you still picture them all huddled up like in their AAU days, and they're just like watching a movie at one of their rooms or something.
Right.
Just, like,
playing video games now.
Games,
Oreos, Girl Scout cookies now, Fortnite, all that good stuff. Milos adds, I think Marv is going to be a scoring machine, and Harry is going to do everything else. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Harry has those intangibles, and Coach Yeager said that his aggressiveness adds an extra energy and confidence that his teammates need, and you can see that from Section 105. Right. I can only imagine what it's like on the court.
And Bagley's, I mean, within a year, I think at this point next year, you should be able to just mark him down, double-double guy.
Yeah.
Points and rebounds. This guy should be a double-double guy, just stepping 1 foot on the floor. Just mark him down for a double-double, and that's what was sorely needed in the wake of trading DeMarcus Cousins. You didn't have that player. You don't have a player like that, and that's what was so intriguing to the Sacramento Kings brass and bringing in Marvin Bagley. That energy, that passion for basketball, but also the fact that this guy addresses a lot of needs on the team.
Right.
And to see what he could be in only a year. I mean, people have been really surprised at what De'Aaron Fox has been in only a year.
Right.
Oh boy, wait for Marvin Bagley. As long as he can stay healthy, and hopefully, and knock on wood, hopefully there's not a moment. We've seen him have some knee trouble this year. Luckily, they've only been sprains, a bone bruise, easy to recover from. You get an off season behind him, and then next year should be fun.
Yeah. Well, continue to weigh in. Give us your questions, your comments, concerns. Let us know how confident you are in the Kings potentially making the playoffs. But kind of to go off Milos' question of who has the higher ceiling, who have you been most impressed with this season? Coaches included.
I'll keep it to players. I think I think Dave Yeager is a big reason why for this, because he's shown the confidence in him. But to me, it's Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield has been their MVP. Being inserted into the starting lineup was certainly helpful. So you can blame the injury to Bogdan Bogdanovic earlier in the year for that. Also, just the ability to stretch the floor. Him giving him that boost has given him optimal playing time, and he's really got a confidence about him. he's in that Steph category now. And I know some people might, go, oh, come on, Sean. But seriously, when he shoots the ball, I'm just convinced it's going in.
Yeah, it's getting Steph Curry level.
Yeah, and it's not even, and that's the other thing. His scoring has been incredible. It's not even that. It's not even his scoring. Look at last game against the Knicks, and I know it was a meh kind of game.
Yeah,
it was just such a gross game. But 7 assists, a career high for him. The way he rebounds at his position is so incredible. This guy wants it. Like he wants to prove that. No, this is my team. Look, Fox gets a lot of shine. Bagley's represents our future. I represent what we are now and what we can be. And for a guy who played all 4 years at college, he comes from a pretty winning program. I'm really impressed with what he's done. And again, it's kudos to Jaeger for putting him into the starting lineup, and he's kept it. And Jaeger, look, he rides him pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I think that
as we saw in Oakland.
Yeah,
right?
and I think some of that is good for Buddy. It might not be the most appealing thing to fans' eyes to see your coach, hitting your star player like that. But at the same time, that helps, that fuels Buddy. So
absolutely.
I think Jaeger knows Buddy very, very well. And I think some of that, hey, that's coaching. Sometimes you don't like to see how the sausage is made, right?
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree, Buddy. But the way that Buddy has emerged as the star, the face of this team, almost alongside De'Aaron. But Harry, I didn't watch him as a high schooler. I didn't, know much about him going in, and to see him sitting. And I know how hungry he was all of last season. From his progression at Summer League when we first saw him to now, and it's like every game that he gets a couple minutes, we're asking about him in the postgame because he's added that much more energy. He has, ferocity on the boards that nobody can bring. So I'm really impressed with Harry. I'm looking forward to seeing how he'll continue to progress, and the way that he's embraced Sacramento and the way that fans have embraced him is really cool to see. Even when he was ejected, he's walking out like this, he's high-fiving everybody, and the fans love it.
They do, and that's look, especially when you're coming off the bench and you're a player that's really trying to find your way or find your niche and where you fit in a team, if you can, at the end of every game, say, we noticed you, that's a huge feather in the cap for a guy like Harry Giles. And look, he brings more things than he does. The positives outweigh the negatives. His foul trouble is incredible, is still a concern, but it's gotten so much better. Yeah. And a lot of that's just the feel of the game, right? And so he's, I think when they run the ball through him, the passing ability is just so great.
He's got
and
good
fans,
hands.
How do you not like him? It's hard not to root for a guy like him with a personality like his and what this kid has been through. And you can talk to some guys in the locker room and know that what they were hearing about Harry Giles, about being the #1 high school player in the country, and then he suffers the setback.
Right.
So it's really just getting game experience, and Harry's taking it all in stride. And he's going to be one of those guys that makes huge strides, and we're already seeing it. Yeah. You're seeing it in a game-by-game basis.
Yep.
And the opportunity with Bagley out helps. And I actually think the two of them, Bagley and Giles, play really, really well together.
So fun to watch.
Yeah, especially together.
Yeah.
When you have that type of energy on the floor, and then you have someone like De'Aaron pushing the ball.
You're watching Harry and Marvin grab boards over here, and then De'Aaron's already scoring on that end of the floor.
Yeah.
So Wayman also wants to know, shout out to Allison, who's been a Kings fan since 200004. She hopped on the bandwagon.
She got in the right time.
Right on time.
Maybe it's her fault, because they kind of went, ooh, from there.
You guys can both take responsibility. Yeah. But where do you see CauleyStein in the future? He seems to have an issue creating his own shot. Do you see the Kings moving on and looking for a more aggressive big man?
I don't know. The good news is he's a restricted free agent, so the Kings can really have the league dictate where his value is. He can go out. For what will happen is free agency hits July 1st. He'll be able to go out and get all the offers in the world, find his best offer, sign that offer sheet, which will likely be with another team, and then the Kings will have a certain amount of time to match that. If they so if he goes out and he signs a 4-year, $65 million contract with the Knicks, Kings can look at that, weigh their options, and go, yes, Willie, we'll match that. Now we're paying you that money, or they can say, no, Willie, we think we're better suited going elsewhere. It's a little too steep for us for what we value your position, and they can decide what to do at that point, possibly bring in somebody else, make a trade, whatever. But I think, look, Willie's future here, I think, could be pretty bright. I think he's a guy that I can understand, draws a lot of the frustrations for the fans because of what he does. Sometimes he's a mistake player,
sure.
And sometimes it comes at some pretty inopportune times. But he's also had the best year of his career, of his entire career, right here in Sacramento. So. I don't know. I think that they've positioned themselves well to move on from Willie. But if he's still in the mix, I think you're looking at the emergence of Giles and Bagley probably being your future. And if CauleyStein's a part of that, it could be a nice little three-headed monster.
Yeah. Well,
in terms of the shot selection, Willie's improved his offensive game.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that he came into the league being known for: rim protector, not a great rebounder, good rim runner, but That's what they would like to see from him. I mean, he should be a double-double guy too. He's rarely that.
Yeah, that's true. But he is finding a way to get to the basket, and if it's a stick back, whatever it is, he'll figure it out.
And in Sacramento, Golden One Center is like Lob City now. It's what Lob City for what the Clippers used to be. It's like you're seeing night in, night out. Lobs up there, alley-oop finishes, incredible dunks.
Windmill dunks on a breakaway by De'Aaron Fox.
By their point guard, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
I still liked, it was funny because it was probably 6 or 7 minutes before that, and it was Dennis Smith who had, that was an incredible
he took off.
Yes, he did.
He hit the Jets on his little Nikes or whatever shoe he wears, and he took off. But yeah, the Kings host the Celtics tonight at 7. Since we last saw you, though, a lot has happened. Big Boy performed at halftime last Wednesday. You have a bunch of performances for various different cultural and heritage nights. But tonight, another halftime performance. There's been like almost every home game has a halftime performance.
You're not performing yet? Like. When do you perform?
Let me know, Kings PR. I will get my performance together. But Steve Aoki is going to be on the ones and twos. He has a
how'd that go?
Like this.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't know. They do much more of that kind of stuff. But
he's going to press some buttons.
He's going to press some buttons, scratch some records, and get the whole crowd jumping at Golden One. He's going to be speaking with a group of LGBTQ teens as well. And that's all kind of in tandem with the arena doing another first, opening up a record store.
Golden One Center doing the most.
Always doing the most. But
you've got a video game lounge.
Which we drafted new Kings guards as well. Well, the Sacramento
Three
Kings.
of them were from Philly, I noticed.
They're from Philly, Connecticut, and Toronto.
Philly loves video games, definitely.
I guess so.
And they're really good at it. No, but so you got a recording studio, you've got a video game lounge. Now you have this music store, which, I mean, and for vinyl, which is like, and I think they're gonna.
Do kids know what that is? Do you think a?
Oh no, they know. I think they know.
Like a 12-year-old wearing a Buddy Heel. If you said, "Hey, show me what a record looks like,"
they're still bootlegging though.
I think they're still using Bear Share and Kazaa and all that.
But it's an interesting concept because it's also kind of up on the second deck. So you go up to the bridge level and check it out and see a lot of the music from artists that have not only come through Golden One Center recently, but also on the horizon. So like for example, Muse comes through. You can go up to the second deck and check out a Muse album.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I like Muse.
You like Muse? Yeah. Can you give us one of their songs? What's your favorite song by Muse?
Starlight.
Okay.
I'm easy.
Speaking of performances, I actually performed a Muse set in my high school choir concert. So
now you know.
If we're talking about halftime performances, I got something in my back pocket if we need it. So yeah, the Kings host the Celtics tonight, wrapping up a 4-game homestand. They're 32-31. 3 games out of the 8th spot. The Clippers and the Spurs are separated by a half game, and then they hit the road, going to New York, Washington, Boston, Philly, and then they come back to host 4 teams that they should beat, including the Phoenix Suns.
And I think again, to go 3-1 on this homestand would be huge. To go into this road trip, I can't stress enough. Like this is essentially, I mean, every game on the way out you can say is a must-win game, but when you go into the road, like this is really going to set them up well. To go 3-1 is going to be so much better than 2-2, and I know this is just one game. No, that's really going to be huge. Because the differential could be a half game out of the playoffs when it's all said and done. When it wraps up on April 14th. Yeah.
10th.
Tax day. 10th.
The 10th is when the Kings wrap up the season in Portland, and that's when we will know if they will be making the playoffs. If it comes down to that, that's kind of how it's been in the West. It comes down to game 82.
Well, it could, but unless you're 3 games out, and then it could be a couple of games before that, but at least you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times you're going to be getting a lot of teams that are going to be kind of resting guys, shutting some guys down. You look at like the Pelicans, for example. They don't play Anthony Davis in the 4th quarter.
Right.
Lakers, who are looking at, there's the possibility they shut down LeBron James. You're not going to shut down LeBron James, but you could put him on a minutes restriction to where he's not going to play as much. And then is he playing in back-to-backs? Who knows? Based on, I don't know. And they're just such a mess. So I think you're going to find areas where teams will have that. You'll get a lot of teams that are playing their 4th game in 5 nights, especially this late in the season. So a lot of things can go right for Sacramento.
Well, let's hope they do. Starting tonight with the Celtics, tip-off is set for 7. We'll have post-game reaction on our ABC 10 YouTube channel, and we'll see you back here next week for more Kings conversation. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. See you next week.